it was interesting because we were talking to Danny Parkins, who's a radio personality in Chicago, just last hour, Sean. And he brought up how Kevin Byard, who is a respected veteran, a very good player, and Byard said that a sign to him of the leadership of Caleb Williams is that he said to all the veterans, or the whole team, including a lot of veterans, that, hey, guys, we're all grown men. We have, there's a lot of trash, around the facility and, water bottles or whatever. Let's go ahead and pick these up, for the people that are cleaning. And you came in and you said that wasn't leadership when you were in the NFL in the early 2000s. And as a rookie, you and the other rookies were expected to clean that stuff up. Amani Toomer, who, of course, was a wide receiver in the league for a long time.
Great player.
Here's what he had to say this morning on the Carton Show about that.
He's Russell Wilson 2.0.
Uh-oh.
This is not going to go over well.
Uh-oh.
If you came in the locker room, I've been in this locker room for 8 years, like you said. And some rookie's going to come in who hasn't played one snap.
Right.
Talking, we're wearing the fingernail polish. Now he's going to come in here and tell me, who've been here, who've been through the struggle, that I need to clean up? No, how about rookie? How about you clean up after me?
Right.
How about that? Don't give me this crap. I don't like it at all. I feel like rookies should earn their respect.
Sure.
Just because you got drafted number 1 doesn't mean nothing to me, because I don't even know if you're good.
I mean, I think you're going to hear most 35 and up current or former NFL players have that same opinion, give you that same narrative. Like, the entitlement of somebody coming into the locker room that's never done a thing at this level is at an all-time high. Like, I get
and
it.
it's not guaranteed that just because you are really ballyhooed and the number 1 pick. We've seen plenty of them go bust.
Yeah, where you get drafted doesn't really matter outside of the size of the initial check. You still got to go and prove it. Like, you're going to get a little more leeway from the team if they invested a high pick on you. But as far as the respect it goes in the league, you got to go and show that what you did in college, you're capable of doing on this level. So I agree with Amani wholeheartedly outside of one significant thing. We got to put some respect on Russell Wilson's name.
I feel
like Russ is the most.
He did win the Super Bowl.
He's the most underappreciated quarterback. Yeah. And I'm going to say this, and this isn't clickbait, in the history of the National Football League.
Wow.
Russell Wilson came into the NFL in 2012 as a rookie, took the Seahawks to the playoffs, won a playoff game. His second year, he took them to the Super Bowl, and they beat Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. In year 3, he took them back to the Super Bowl. And outside of maybe the dumbest play call inside the 5-yard line in the history of sports, would have beaten Tom Brady and the Patriots in year 3. Like, people act like Russ is some bum. Like, Russ has never had a season under 60% completion percentage. He's never thrown for less than 3,100 yards in a season. Chris, in 12 years, he's got 2 years where he's thrown for less than 25 touchdown passes. Like, Russ is a baller. If Caleb Williams turns out to be Russell Wilson, guess what? Everybody in Chicago, get ready, because y'all going to have a couple parades. It's going to be magnificent.
Well, I feel you, and I think he obviously wasn't
the personality.
Right. I think that's what he's talking about, is the personality.
The multiple parking spaces and, all the things you heard about in Denver.
Well, yeah, and I think he's thinking of a guy, and I don't know Russ personally. I don't dislike Russ, just from what I see from the outside. But I think he's talking about, like you said, the office in Denver, and Russ. And some of it's just his polish. And a lot of people think that's phony, but I think it's polish. He is clearly a guy that had greater aspirations than just being a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And, the marketing of himself, the videotaping of himself, and the social media, the way he speaks, it speaks of a guy that is like, I'm not just a regular player. I don't think it speaks of arrogance in terms of the way you view your other teammates, but it's like I'm here to do more than just play football. And I think that's probably what he meant. And obviously there were some negative views of Russ in the locker room too in Seattle. So I'm not just trying to clean it up, but so you said 35 and up are going to feel that way.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much you talk with current players and stuff like that.
A lot.
Have things changed to where there is no rookie hazing, so to speak, and all that stuff anymore?
I think it has a lot to do with the core group of veterans. And where they are.
So it varies from team to team.
Yeah, and where they are in their career. I mean, you got some teams with a group of veterans is old school. It's going to be old school. You got some other teams with a group of veterans have already all gotten paid. They don't really give a damn. They just going to do their job and make sure their money's straight, and whatever happens. So it varies from team to team. My thing would be this, and I'm a big fan of Caleb Williams' talent. But I think when an athlete in a team sport wants to be transcendent.
Right. And that's what it seems like he does.
There's got to be some kind of lineage of championships. Like, they didn't win a championship at SC. They lost in the Pac-12 title game.
No, right.
They lost to Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. They didn't make it the second year. Like, it's not like he's coming in, having won a natty in college football or even a conference title. Like, granted, he won the individual award, the Heisman. I get that. Hat tip to you. Much respect. But for the real respect to come from like the guys that would be in the conversation of being on the NFL Mount Rushmore, you got to have some titles, man. You got to have one.
I feel you because, and you heard Pat Riley say, keep the main thing the main thing. It's fine to have aspirations of being transcendent, to use your word. And I think that's a perfect word. Russ clearly wanted to be transcendent. It seems like Caleb may want that, and that's fine. But I think you have to realize the way I become transcendent is to win.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like, you can't put the cart before the horse. You can't be like focused on wanting to be transcendent and not focused on, man, let me just be the best quarterback I can be.
Yeah, let me come in here and put my head down. Right, absolutely.
The transcendence will come. And I feel you. Like, almost everybody who wanted to be transcendent focused on the sport first.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe, now, LeBron James is a little bit of an exception because he came into the league. I was around LeBron a lot when he was younger in the league. He wanted to be transcendent. He said in interviews he wants to be, like Muhammad Ali and all of that stuff. But he's still focused on the sport. And to your point, basketball is a little different than football in that the locker room's much smaller. One player can have a much bigger impact. Even a quarterback in the NFL, I don't know that they have a huge impact too, but as far as like one player of 5 in basketball on the court, you can make a little bit more of an impact perhaps.
And to be honest, LeBron James is so unique of a test case because, hell, he was a rookie. Abe Lincoln was president. He'd been in the NBA for 70
That's like
years.
A Rob Parker joke.
No, but let's be honest. After year 7 with the Cavs, which 7 is a hell of a career for a professional athlete. If his career would have been over at that point, he's not considered anything.
He's not near the GOAT conversation.
Right. But, he got a reset on his career in Miami, went down with a bunch of hired guns.
Right.
Lost the first year, but I think really learned how to be a champion.
Right.
Spent another 4 there. Went back to Cleveland and cleaned up any bad blood that still lingered from him leaving the first time. And now he's all about his business now that he's back in L.A. So most athletes don't get, all of those resets from a career standpoint.
That's fair. But I agree. Like, it is interesting because when I heard that story about Caleb, that was, look, you heard it being told in a very positive way, but that was the first thing that crossed my mind.
Like Chris, what is he standing on? What is he standing on outside of I'm the number 1 pick?
Like you said, nothing. And again, I don't belittle that, but there's no way. I don't care who you are. in football, I mean, we've seen too many number one picks not pan out. And I'm not saying he's not going to pan out, but you just can't rest on that. Like, it's not like you're coming in and automatically you're going to be great. It just doesn't work that way.
And having lived a lot of my life on the grass, where like you really competing, I feel like you got to earn the right to even break down. Like the way I would have handled it as a rookie, if we had an issue, I would have first got with my fellow rookies and said, is this something even worth like making a big fuss about, or is this something we can handle on our own? And if it was a consensus or at least a majority in the rookies, then I would go privately to one of the vets and say, what you think about this? Like, I think there's a protocol to becoming the leader of a football team.
Right.
Like, that's a different kind of animal than some of these other sports where your skill kind of elevates you quickly. Like in football, man, listen, you got to prove that you can go out there when you get knocked on your butt, get back up consistently. When you go out there and you throw 3 picks in the first 3 quarters, you got enough mental fortitude and toughness to come back and still have great body language and bring us back and win a game no one thought we could win. Like, those things are earned on the grass. Not by where you're drafted, not by your Q rating, not by the level of celebrity profile that you have at a specific point.